Hey everybody, grab your Bible and a pencil and a journal and maybe even a cup of coffee and join in on our conversation. But first, I would love for you to write this down. Philippians 4, verses 11 through 13. Not that I speak from want, for I have learned to be content in whatever circumstances I am. I know how to get along with humble means, and I also know how to live in prosperity. In any and every circumstances, I have learned the secret of being filled and going hungry, both of having abundance and suffering need. I can do all things through Him who strengthens me.
Hey everyone, welcome to Write This Down with Dot Bowen. My name is Cara. I am Dot's daughter, and every week we sit down together and we have a conversation about God, about scripture, about what He might be teaching us. And we are talking about your question on how do we balance ambition and career with trusting God and just being content. So we would love for you to pull up a chair and join in our conversation. So we have the Bible verse that's on every t-shirt.
Yeah. Yes. And it's so funny
I can do all things.
I can do all things if
that strengthens me.
I could say that all day long and I still won't be a gymnast.
Yeah.
But I will say this. It's funny because you're right. When I was trying to pick, verse that the truth that goes along with the question that you're going to ask or the listener asked, I thought about that. I thought I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And whoever is writing and putting that on a t-shirt that's on a sports thing probably has no clue that Paul was talking about money. And
I don't think I did.
Okay.
I don't know what I thought, but guess I never really thought about it. I mean, I knew that it was taken out of context most of the time, but that's interesting.
It is because Paul was writing to the church in Philippi and they had been giving and supporting his ministry. And they were talking about, he says, the verse, it says, I rejoice greatly in the Lord that, you've had concern for me, even before I liked the opportunity. And he's talking about you gave money and you took care of my needs, but don't worry about me because I've learned how to be, content with all of these things. And so he's definitely talking to the church and saying, don't worry about me about finances.
Yeah. Well, all right.
So what's the question we know has something to do with this?
Yeah. Okay. So the question is, how do I balance ambition and career with trusting God and being content?
And that was one of the reasons why I chose this, because I think Paul, if he was sitting here in our conversation, which kind of is because we got his words right here, I think he would say, look, listen, I was the Pharisee of the Pharisee.
Yeah.
I was the who's who of the Pharisees. Yeah. And he was very wealthy. He had a great business, tent business. He was doing very well for himself. And he was so diligent. He was very, very diligent, but very powerful, very zealous for, the Pharisees. And
he was an ambitious guy.
Very, very ambitious. And then all of a sudden, God stops him in his tracks, literally. And all of a sudden, this ambition, this drive to persecute the Christians, to protect Jehovah, what he thought was, his protection is to get rid of anyone that would confess to know Jesus. So the reason I'm pointing all this out was because he was very ambitious. He had a career, he had an ideal. And it's really interesting to me is that he was very ambitious and very driven, but he was very wrong because he was going after the Christians and he was going through.
But his ambition wasn't wrong.
Well, it was geared in the wrong way.
What he was doing.
Because when he became a believer and he follower of Jesus, he was just as zealous. That was his personality.
Right.
That was his
he
drive.
was still ambition.
And he was very, So now he's done it, in a different way. And I think for the question is how can I balance that?
Yeah.
And again, I think there are some people that are just driven, and there are some people that have a larger capacity to do more than, I mean, I might look at someone and think, how do you do? I do. I look at a lot of people and go, how do you do what you do? Yeah. And they have the capacity to do a lot. But there are some rules, there are some guidelines that we have to be very careful. And that is out of balance. And I think, Jesus came, he had a purpose, he had a plan. He was very diligent with what he wanted to do and knew what he was going to do, and he had a plan and a purpose to do it. And yet he took time to get away and pray.
Yeah.
He took, he was really involved with the people. Then he went away from the people. So he's very balanced. I think balance is a
because it's
key.
Like you can, like, there's nothing wrong with being ambitious and having a career, obviously. Like, he wants us to work and do
everything with excellence.
Yeah. But then also you could be like, I'm just trusting God and being content and not do anything.
Right. Yeah.
And, not that I don't think you can take trusting God out of balance, but some people can use that as an excuse to be lazy or to not do anything. Right. So yeah, I think you're right. Like it's balancing. And I don't know that this is answering the question, but I think also it's kind of like, are you trusting God with your career? However, I think what I hear in this question is balancing, like striving, you work, but then also you like trusting God that he will, provide the open doors, or he will provide the business opportunities, or provide or even if if you're ambitious, if you're a stay-at-home mom, there's still ambition in that because you're,
you have to motivate yourself every single day to do that. Yeah.
Raising kids and all
and
that.
I think I really believe that every Christian that says that they follow Jesus should do things with excellence. Mm-hmm. Now, what that looks like will be different
for everyone.
What's excellent for me, if I do the best I can do, I do the best I can do. I feel like we should not be lazy. We should work and do what God's told us to do. I think we should be very diligent and prayerful of that. I think for me, the way I would like to answer this question is to go a little bit deeper and not really like I'm not going to tell you what you should do and what job you should get into or what is really God has for you. But I think we should all step back and question our motives. And I think that what I've seen with people that are really out of balance and really striving to be successful, and, I think men, women both, but I think sometimes men particularly feel like it's their job, which I understand this, to provide for their families. But it's all about what they're going to provide. And I know that my age, I've seen a lot of people in their race and, go see Jesus. And I've never been beside anyone that I knew that was about to go see Jesus say, I wish I had worked more. Mm-hmm. And I think, and what I've seen, and this is, I don't mean to be ugly, I'm just going to tell you what I've seen. I've seen people die like they live. And in a way that if they're family oriented, they die with their family around them. If they die with a career and all they care about is their money or whatever, they die alone. And I've seen this so much that I've had to step back, at my age and think, if I were to go see Jesus today, who would be the most impacted of my loss? And
me,
Cara. But I just think you have to step back and go, I need to know if I want, and this is huge, so listen to me very carefully, write this down. Do I want the applause of people and the world, or do I want the applause of heaven? Do I want God to applaud me? Well done, thy good and faithful servant. Yeah. And I think you can be successful in your career, and I think you can be successful with your home. Yeah. And I think it's not taking one or the other. It's
right. I think it kind of even goes along with what we talked about last week with the fear and anxiety. There's, if you're striving with, ambition or career or whatever it is, so much so that it's causing, you feel like it's all up to you. It's causing this fear and anxiety. It's like, I gotta, keep going instead of, but also taking moments of resting and being like, okay, I think it's like examining your heart, thinking, am I striving, but also trusting the Lord that he's going to provide the opportunities. He's going to open the doors. He's going to.
Right. Yeah, I do believe this. I've learned this, that not every door is an open door that God's opened. You have to really be discerning and wise, and you have to look at how much time and what is going, you can't be everything to everybody.
Yeah.
So somebody you're going to rob from.
Yeah.
And I think that
yes to something is a no to
yeah.
something else. Like,
yes, you just can't be everything to everybody. And so there are times where I think when Howard, was working really hard and he was gone so much, there was times that a lot of people thought I was a single mom, but it didn't last forever.
Yeah.
And there
there
are times that you can see seasons where, and this was the time when Howard was out on his own and really having to work really hard
out on his own in the sense of his own business. Yeah, starting his business. Yeah.
Starting his business. And so he had to really, that took a lot more time.
Yeah.
But he didn't do it forever. And his heart was not to be successful. And I want to say this. And this literally was our conversation. Howard and I had conversations when he was first starting and when he started working with someone else before he started out on his own. His mentality was, I want to do everything I can to make you successful.
The other person.
And I think that his heart was, I'm going to do everything I can to this job so that whoever I'm being paid by, whoever I'm working for, will be successful.
Yeah. Well, and
I think God honored that.
Yeah. And I think too, the little bit I know of how navigating all that is he also wanted to be a light and he wants to do business differently. Like in the world that he was in, there's a lot of people that cut corners or cut people off, in the sense of
get bribes and
like
he did not do that.
Doing people right or whatnot. It was really common, which is probably common in a lot of industries. Not just what he did, but I do know like that was part of his mentality too of like, I want to do it differently. I want to treat people well. I want to treat people right and do business in a God honoring way.
This is your business.
Yeah.
This, and I'm working for you and I want you to be successful. So I'm going to do everything I can to do that. And then and God honored that, and it's like a servant's spirit and a servant heart. And I think that glorifies God. And I think without even saying it, unfortunately, I will have to say that, and I'm just going to be, honest here in the fact that Howard had the mentality, if I walked in and there was somebody there that had a Bible on the desk, he wouldn't do business with them.
Why is that?
Because he felt like they were using the Bible and I'm a Christian. And in other words, don't show me the Bible, live it. Don't tell me you're a Christian. He's been hurt more in business by Christians that proclaim to be Christians. And so I think for him, he wanted, and he did. And the reason I know he did this, he wanted to reflect Jesus. He wanted them to know, because they knew. And when we would go to business dinners and things together, they would say, I don't know how he is successful because he doesn't do what the world tells him to do. Yeah. And I will say this too, you know this. We've told all of our kids this and sat down with them not too long ago and shared what God had done in business and stuff. And I just remember, so often like asking God to bless the hands of Howard, bless the work of his hands. So as a wife, that's what I would pray for. I knew a lot of people worked very hard, but didn't feel that they'd gotten benefit financially for all their hard work. But I just would ask God, just bless the work of his hands. And then we would have dinner with a lot of people that were very wealthy. And I thought, I don't want to be like them. Yeah. It was like money had changed them. Like they couldn't.
Well, I think that was it
was a heart issue.
Yeah. And that wasn't the focus. I mean, that was a benefit, but it wasn't like the focus wasn't to get, or the primary, focus wasn't to get money. I mean, it's a benefit.
It pays the bills.
Yeah. And I think that's how you balance it is you still work, you still do things, but you always like keep your heart in check of being like, okay, who am I serving, God or money?
That's right. And I think you can sell your soul. I think you can sell and be robbed of who you are by getting and trying to get the applause of a man. And if you're trying to please everybody else and make everybody else happy and above God, then we can see that just even in sports. I see it all the time. Coaches, like if they win the Super Bowl, they're the greatest coach ever. If they lose the first game of the year, they're the worst coach ever. And so we live in a world where, it's very
performance
acceptance. And I think God's about the opposite. It's about the heart.
Yeah.
And I think balancing the career and trusting God is just sitting back and going, why am I doing this? Mm-hmm. And what's the motivation? And what do I want? What is it? Who am I trying to please? Mm-hmm. I think trusting God doesn't mean I'm trusting God to be successful or pay the bills. I think trusting God means I want to honor Him with everything that I do.
Right. Yeah. Because it's also, it's not, I don't think it's wrong to want to be successful or want to earn money and want, it's like that.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think Christians should be the best paid and the best workers.
Yeah. So I feel like it's, but it's keeping it balanced. It's like, that's not your God.
I was going to say is before earlier, and this, is that I asked God as I was praying, bless the work of His hands, that if money would change me, because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I thought I would be better than everybody else because I had money or use that money as a, if it changed me, I didn't want it.
Yeah.
And I knew only God knew that. I could say all day long, if I had money, it wouldn't change me, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think for what people that want to deal with this is say, God, I don't want to sell my soul. Yeah. I don't want to do anything or put myself in a situation where I don't glorify you. Mm-hmm. So help me to keep that motivation and that, mindset. But I do believe with all my heart, and, Paul is definitely a good one to learn from. Mm-hmm. He's like, you know what? Contentment has nothing to do with what you have. And I think that's the thing. Yeah. I think contentment is a heart issue.
Yeah.
And I can tell you all day long that I cannot eat one Krispy Kreme donut. There's something about that Krispy Kreme sugar donut that causes me to crave more.
Yeah.
And I think that success is similar.
Yeah.
I think
you have to always keep your heart.
It's a heart issue. Yeah. And you have to be careful with that because that's like feeding the lust. It's about feeding, how much is too much.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's, something that you have to do. So the question again about how do you balance that and still trust God is that I just think you have to know yourself and be honest with yourself of what is your motivation. I don't think you have a problem trusting God if you know that you're motivated to do the right thing and you want to honor Him, obey God.
Honor Him in the process.
Yeah. I love the fact that Satan, I don't love Satan. I hate him. He hates me. It's the only thing I hope we got in common. But ironically, one of the temptations he had with Jesus was, look at all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And if you'll bow down and worship me, I'll give it to you. He's telling that to Jesus, who owned all that stuff.
I'm pretty sure it's his. Yeah.
But I think that Satan was kind of talking to Jesus as a human. I think that Satan knew that was a humanist drive.
Yeah.
That was part of the flesh.
Yeah.
And because Jesus was the creator of the heavens and the earth.
Yeah.
Now we do know in Genesis 3 that Satan came and brought sin into it, and now he's the father of this earth, the way that the world works. So half-truth is hard. Mm-hmm. So he told Jesus, if you bow down and worship me, I'll give you all this. And I think sometimes that's what is the struggle, is what am I worshiping versus that. And I think that we need to be very careful and know that we're capable of anything to get caught up into that. We may start out with a good motive, but be very careful in doing that. And I think you won't have to worry about the issue.